rights groups in the country say government has banned protest action that was planned for today. Togolese have been up in arms in demonstrations that came weeks after President Faure Essozinma Nasibe, who has been president for 2 decades and whose family has ruled the country for 58 years, was sworn into a new post of President of the Council of Ministers, which has no official term limit. A coalition of 23 Togolese civil rights groups, known as the National Platform for Civic Space and Development Effectiveness, say 7 people have been killed in protests that began 3 weeks ago. The West African nation officially banned demonstrations since 2022 over security reasons. We begin this discussion with Nathaniel Olympio, who is spokesperson of the Hands Off My Constitution movement. Nathaniel, thank you for making time for us. How are you this Friday?
I'm fine, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, we appreciate your time. What is expected from today, since government has banned the protest that was set to happen?
Well, you have to know that Togolese people are very determined. And we have been fighting for our freedom from the oldest dictatorship in the whole Africa. You know, Mr. Fron Citoyen and his father have been ruling the country for 58 years. And this is done under a very high level of violence, corruption, and a lack of justice. And what is new today in the new wave of protest is that the young men and women have decided to get involved in the struggle. And that makes a very big difference because they have no fear, they have no future, they have no job, and they are very determined. So that we have to take care of this situation very, very seriously. And I'm very worried about what is happening in my country.
As we say, demonstrations in Togo have been banned since 2022. So what avenues of expressing dissent have been made available then to the people of Togo since the banning of demonstrations, and have they proven effective?
Well, the last time a protest happened in Togo is in 2019. And people are very fed of what is happening in Togo. Everybody has had enough. And the people want Mr. Fron Citoyen to step down. We have no possibility to express our anger. There is no job, there is no future for our children. And when they express their anger, the only response is repression. They beat people, they put people in jail, they rush into houses, beat women. That is unacceptable. In our country, when people want to say that they are not happy with how the country is ruling, the only response is violence, repression. They even use militia to stop protesters. That is not acceptable for us. And we are keeping fighting until we get what we are looking for, a better life.
And one of those things you are looking for in achieving that better life is that civil society groups are now calling for an investigation after people were killed during anti-government protests in the capital, Lome. Who are the civil rights groups? We mentioned a coalition of 23, but are they in operation only within the country? Are the international civic groups also adding to the call?
Well, we asked for international we asked for international action to find what happened exactly. What are the conditions people were killed during protest? Because in our country, when things like that happen, there is no result of for justice. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what exactly happened to people that have been killed. It's why we are calling for African Union. We are calling for United Nations to take care of what is happening in Togo, because civil rights are completely down and the people have no way to express what they are struggling.
How much of an influence do civil society groups yield in Togo? As you say, you're calling for international support in terms of other rights groups on this. As we look at the country's civil service minister, Gilbert Bawara, he is also part of the ruling party. So how much of a heeding of these calls would happen if you don't have international support?
Well, it's very difficult for us because, as far as the only response we have from the government is repression, it's very, very difficult to have what we are expecting. It's very difficult to express what we are expecting for them. And the relation between the people and the government is very, very difficult. It's why the young men today got involved in that struggle. And this is why we are saying that it's time to take care of what the people of Togo are facing. The situation is getting worse, and we can't let it keep like that. It's why it's very, very important to have the support of the international community to make the situation getting better in Togo.
The organizations, the civic rights groups, have said that 7 people died during protests and bodies were found in lakes and lagoons. The government's response to that, those death claims, are that the bodies found were people who died from drowning. How credible is this government's response? And in terms of more explanation that has been given on the drownings, are these lakes and lagoons known for people swimming in them or fishing there?
Well, the government is not credible at all. Then everybody saw videos on social media how militias have been activated, how people were beating the protesters. Even though people who are not protesting, they have been beaten by the militia and military people, so that they can say that those people we found in the lake are not from the are not protesters. They have been killed during the protest. It's why it's very necessary that the support comes from abroad, because internally we can't have the right to say how things went in the country.
As we talk of support on an international civic rights groups front, what about word from fellow economic community of West African states or ECOWAS leaders on what has unfolded in Togo, from the constitutional reforms to the anger and frustration of the people of Togo, and to now these calls for investigation into protest deaths?
They say nothing. Since yesterday, when Mr. Fron has replaced the constitution by another one, which allowed him to stay in power for life, ECOWAS was silent. And this is not understandable. We can't understand that for this situation, ECOWAS is silent. It's why we are calling them to react now, to say that what is happening in Togo does not fit the rule of law. That is not fit the rule of ECOWAS itself. It's why it's very important that the head of states get involved in the situation in Togo. We need to solve the situation, and it's necessary that everybody take care of what is happening here in Togo. The situation is getting worse, and it's time to take it over.
You mentioned young people being involved quite heavily in these protests. We know that musicians and the arts have also added their voice or voices of dissent. In what ways have they been impactful?
Well, you know that we have more than 70% of Togolese citizens are young, and the government have to listen to them. And those people have today no future. They have no job. They have no fear also. So the situation became very dangerous. It's what I was saying, that the government has to take care of the situation very seriously. It's why I'm worried about that. They have to be listened. The government have to take care of the concern of the people.
And you're talking of the government taking the concern of the people. How has the president or premier, Nasibe, attempted to diffuse the anger amongst the Togolese?
The only response we have is repression, because they consider that protest is illegal. as it's forbidden in the country. So there is no discussion between the government and people. The situation is just in the same way. It's why it's getting worse. I think that as the government doesn't want to talk with people, doesn't want to understand what the people are facing in their day-to-day life, so the solution is to have support from abroad. Otherwise, I'm very worried about what can happen in my country.
So if Nasibe does not really have a next response in terms of diffusing the anger amongst the protesters, we also have 86-year-old former business minister Jean-Lucien Savy de Tove, who has been placed in the presidency role since Nasibe took his new role after reshuffling the country's power structure. We know his role for de Tove to be just a ceremonial one, but is it as reduced as it seems, and what could he be seen as having in terms of adding a voice to this protest actions and the dissent of the Togolese?
Mr. Fron Citoyen has the whole power in his hand. Everything is decided by himself only. So that Mr. Savy de Tove has no power. He's just like in honorific position. I think that what is happening in Togo is very simple. Mr. Fron Citoyen wants to stay in power for life, and he wants to keep the whole power in his hand, doing what he wants with the power for his own benefit and nothing for the people. It's why we think that the new constitution they set up can't solve the problem of Togolese citizens. Things must change. And it's why the people of Togo are asking Mr. Fron Citoyen to step down, because they have had enough of the situation. Enough is enough.
59-year-old Nasibe has ruled Togo since 2005. I think we mentioned that also in our introduction, that his family has ruled the country for over 58 years after he took over from his father, Nasibe Eyadema. Is there even a succession plan then at this point for Togo, and what does that look like, and what should that take into consideration in terms of reaching some democratic terms?
We are no longer in a republic, we are a dynasty. And the way they are ruling the country means that they don't want people to be free. They don't want people to be able to express their anger, to express their needs, to express their expectation, so that we cannot have that kind of country in our area. In Ekoue, we are supposed to live in a democracy, and we have to do what is possible to make the government of Togo taking care of the people. We need to live in a democracy, and you cannot keep the power for decades without let people choose their leaders. What is happening in Togo is just unacceptable. It's why once again I'm saying that it's important that we have the support of Ekoue, the support of United Nations, with the support of African Union, because alone the people of Togo can't face the repression of this regime.
What about the support of the church? We've seen back in 2017 church leaders supporting marches that were demanding change. What role can they be playing in the developments in the country?
Yes, they play a very important role. And last time they expressed they are worried about what is happening in the country, and they asked the government to take care of what the people are expressing. But you know, in a dictatorship, they don't understand anything. They don't understand what people are saying. They don't understand the council, so that we have to have a pressure over them. And that can only be done by people, but also from abroad. It's the conjunction, it's the combination of what we can do in our country as people and what we can have as a support from abroad that will help us to go ahead and to make change in our country. And the church is playing very important role in what is happening today. They are at the side of the people, and that's a very good thing.
Nathaniel, we'll leave it there for today, but thank you again for your insights and information on this important matter.
Thank you very much.
Nathaniel Olympio is spokesperson for the Hands Off My Constitution movement, one of the civic society groups in Togo. They're fighting for the rights and democracy of the Togolese.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa One. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa One. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Your morning companion with the stories that matter. This is Rise and Shine on Channel Africa.
So, as we've been hearing, Togo remains tense after the government banned today's planned protest against President Faure Gnassingbé's recent move to consolidate power. The president, in office for over 2 decades now, heads a newly created Council of Ministers with no term limits, sparking weeks of demonstrations and a harsh security crackdown. We're now joined by Ekoue David Dosseh, who's the spokesperson for Fron Citoyen Togo Debout, which translates to Citizens Front Togo Standing Up. It's a coalition of civic groups defending democracy, human rights, and constitutional rule in Togo. He also coordinates the pro-democracy movement Tournanos La Page Togo. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program, Mr. Dosseh.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
First of all, government has banned today's protest. What, in your view, has led to this decision, and what's your response as a grouping?
In our sense, it's for the government a ploy just to ban citizen demonstration. Government doesn't want people demonstrating against its power, and we think that the reason of sensitivity of electoral period is something we cannot allow, because after the last demonstration, people died, and we think that it's very important for the nation to pay tribute to the victims and to support the families. It's the second time the government decided to ban the demonstration, and the government evokes the fact that we are in a sensitive period of electoral municipal election, but we all know that the electoral campaign is over, and that the vote took place more than a week ago. So we cannot accept this kind of explanation. But yesterday, after our meeting, we decided to postpone for a last time this demonstration. We'll continue to call people for mobilization, and we hope that the next time will be the good time, and we will be very many people in streets in order to pay tribute to the victims.
These demonstrations have been on about 3 weeks now. Do you feel that they are having an effect, given the extreme response that the government has taken?
Yes, we think that these demonstrations have effects. That's why the government doesn't want us to be in demonstration again. the government is very scared of people demonstrating in street, many people rioting, but we cannot continue to accept this situation, which is like a life presidency. We all know that the new constitution is something very illegal. The new constitution was adopted among parliamentarians without people, and this adoption is against legal provision. I just want to remember that our constitution of 1992 said that before changing the mode of selecting the head of state, you need to go to the people and ask the people. And now the new constitution has changed the mode of selecting the head of state, but without referendum. So it's a very illegal constitution, and that's why we Togolese people, Togolese citizens, we want to demonstrate, we want to riot against the new constitution and against the dictatorship which is ruling our country since many decades.
Is there or have there been any platforms for civic groups such as yours to engage directly with government, or they just don't want to hear and listen to anything that the citizens have to say?
We don't know if there will be a period of engagement, of discussion in the future. We don't know. But for the moment, it's very important for citizens, for people to continue to demonstrate and to say that we are not agree with the way that they are ruling our country. If the government decides to discuss with the people, if the government decides to accept what people are saying, I think that maybe the government will engage discussion and ask people, political parties and civil society to come at the table and to discuss. But at this moment, we are not thinking about discussion with the government. We just want to say that we have very big concerns on the situation of the country, political concerns, economical concerns, because corruption is something very high in our countries, and actually people are very suffering in Togo because of economic difficulties.
And what do you want to see happening, and in what kind of timeline?
First of all, we need to have more freedom, because fundamental freedoms are violated every time by the government. We have difficulties to organize demonstration, as you can see. The freedom of expression, the freedom of information is violated every time. You have many journalists which are in exile, and we need the government to restore civic space, to restore fundamental freedoms, and maybe to engage discussion with people, with political parties, with civil society, in order to discuss about the real situation of the countries and to engage Togo in a good way of alternation. We cannot continue with the same system since 6 decades. We cannot continue with the same family at the head of the country since 1967. We need to know alternation. We need to experience alternation. We need to experience another way of ruling the country, and it's something very important for Togolese people.
Mr. Dosseh, that's where we'll have to leave it. Thank you so much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us on developments in your country at this time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's Ekoue David Dosseh, spokesperson for Fron Citoyen Togo Debout, or the Citizens Front Togo Standing Up, as demonstrations continue, even though they're banned in Togo at this time. It's 6:30, which means it's time for your news headlines with Jwalani Tulongwepe.
SABC News,